So today the interview is with Madeline, and we're talking about parents that disagree with their children's sexuality. So Madeline, you have a daughter that is gay.
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
At first, I was angry. Trying to figure out what did I do wrong, or where did it go wrong at with her, because as I mentioned before, as growing up, we was always ingrained, taught, woman, man,
right?
No woman, woman.
Yeah.
I said it couldn't happen to me. It couldn't be happen to me, my daughter. But I've come to how can I say it? I communicated with her.
Yeah.
I didn't want to shut her out. First, I was going to shut her out.
Right.
And my sister told me, no, I'm going to talk to her.
Okay. So you wanted to shut her out. What did you think that action would do to her? What were you trying to achieve by shutting her out?
Achieve that, I felt that to change her mind. To change her mind.
Arm wrestle her, if you will.
Right,
okay.
right.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Huh. So you disagree with the lifestyle because of a way of thinking, or was it due to religion?
It's my religion.
And
it's
what
the
is
religion.
that?
Jehovah's Witness.
Okay. And so the Jehovah's Witness members strongly disagree with homosexuality.
It's not it's the practice. It's all, actually it just goes by what's in the Bible. All religion says that, but we go by what's in the Bible, not the person, it's just the practice. We don't view it as okay, for example, do unto others as you do, do unto others as you want to be treated.
Right.
So just because that's her lifestyle, or someone practice that, you're not supposed to treat them no different.
Right.
Because Jesus has compassion. We should have compassion. Everybody's struggling with something.
Right.
So, as far as that, so that's my belief.
Okay.
So I'll go with some advice.
So, in one breath, you judged her negatively because of her sexuality, but in the next breath, you feel that all people have the right to feel and know what's perfect. So you're a little confused about what you really felt emotionally.
At first.
Okay.
At first.
All right. And do you think that her sexuality is due to something else that happened, or do you think she was born this way? What's your opinion?
My opinion, I feel that something might have happened. I have not asked her, been afraid to ask her that I haven't come to a conclusion to ask her now. And that's what I was thinking. I didn't feel that she was born that way. I just felt that maybe something happened down the road. And it's maybe something that she likes.
Something like what?
Maybe she's been touched.
Molested? Raped? Something like that?
I felt that.
So do you believe that in order for you to be attracted to the same sex, that something you were compromised as a child, meaning raped or molested?
You mean all, or just her situation?
It's just in general.
At one point, Michelle, I did. At one point, I used to think it was something that happened in her past, a trigger for her to, anyone of opposite sex, maybe that it was hurt by the opposite sex, and they decided I would go to other sex because this person treats me better than this other person. So, and that's what my, thoughts used to be. But thinking about it, it's something what a person likes.
Yeah, because when you really think about it, it's really interesting how people think, because my mom might want to believe that same thing too. She might prefer to think that something happened, because I don't know if it's because, a parent feels like they did something wrong, they're looking for something wrong. But, we do some real soul searching. Heterosexual people have been molested, men and women, and they're still heterosexual.
Right.
So I don't think that is it, because sometimes that same person, not saying you, but that same person that says that to their child, they're probably heterosexual. So it's like, see how that could be a little confusing, a little convoluted? You know, it's just like when there's two same-sex parents, they think that the child is going to be gay. That's convoluted too, because I guarantee you the person that's thinking this way is heterosexual and their child is gay. So what does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because my parents are straight, you know, they're heterosexual, but I believe I was born gay, you know. And like I said in my last video, it wasn't because I was touched, you know. It was just a feeling.
A feeling, right.
You know, because if you really think about it, I'm sure your daughter feels this way. She probably felt like I could change it. If I could only change it to please my mother or to make my life a little easier. Because it would be easier. Because then you could blend, right? But you will also be committing a level of suicide because it's not who you are. It's like if God came to the earth, because you part of your judgmental reasoning was religion. So if God came to the earth and said, hey, we're overpopulated, the earth is dropping, we need to stop. So for the next 100 years, we need Steve and Adam to be together, and Susan and Gil to be together. Can you go be with Susan?
No.
But God says that's what you should do.
And the way my feeling is.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's the same thing. You know.
Right.
And I don't think people really get that. I remember one time I was talking to a friend, and she said, we're going through with my cousin. We have to send her to Texas. I said, why did you have to send her to Texas? She said she's having an affair with a woman and leaving her husband. And I said, oh, so is there gay people in Texas? Because the reality, it lives within her. It doesn't matter where she traveled.
Right.
She still got to live with herself and her desires, you know.
Right.
So, you know, so that's why you were pretty much uncomfortable with her sexuality.
Right. And, you know, and the more she and I talk, the more. And you know, I asked you truth, Machelle, it was before I even got baptized as a witness. You know, I was a Methodist at that time, so it's just something that I knew was in the Bible. But it's like I said, it's a number of things that's in there that we all fighting with. We practice. Is it like Sherelle said? Is my sin greater than that person's sin who's you know committing adultery? You know, and I says, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, and it's so true. But you know, I think a lot of people are they make up their own laws. Even people that write the Bible, because remember, the Bible is written by man, inspired by God, God. You know, I always tell people that Jim Jones had a huge contribution.
You know how I feel with that?
And so think about it, that kind of power he had. And if he didn't decide to kill everyone, he would have his own Bible today. Do you agree?
He would have had his own, and I feel that men were inspired. They were inspired to write the Bible, but when it comes to Almighty, He has the power to do whatever. He can move hearts. He can change hearts, and we have so many people. We have Satan. So Jim Jones, when he took that part. What he wanted, just like Satan, to manipulate people. And so he, you know, he took a section where he manipulated to get people and kill people, innocent
a lot
people.
Of people do,
Exactly.
So I said it to say, you know, he was inspired by something and he called it God.
Satan.
And there's a lot of people that wrote their fair share in Bibles, inspired by God, but really inspired by what I believe to be their motivation, what they're trying to get out of it, their manipulation. So we have people following these different religions and judging, you know, and I know nothing, a little nothing about the Bible, but what I do know is King James was homosexual. And if you go over to Europe, because it's much older, you'll find out more. Because he was an author there. And he also said he was having sex with his mother. So he sounded like a Jim Jones in his era. But people follow it. People debate that part. you know. So that's why I don't use the word God because I don't know what that means to my audience. I say God, I'd be like, yeah, I feel that way too. I'm like, no.
There's many gods. So
I would say the highest power,
right.
you know, because that's who I have my conversations with, because clearly there's a higher power. The word God has been manipulated too much. So, and then, you know, the whole thing, like you said, it sounds like you have a better understanding because initially you believed that your sin was not as much. It didn't weigh as much. Is that correct?
My sin? As far as?
Compared to your daughter homosexuality.